Hi, you're back with Mark and Diane, news and views. So May was a great month, Mark.
May was good. We've seen a lot of buyers come back, got off the couch a little bit, and started to buy some real estate. Right? We saw limited inventory. We saw multiple pricing strategies from holding off on offers, 24 hours, 48 hours irrevocability. But we also saw stuff that doesn't sit well with me in a way where we show a property, great. We expect to get notified of an offer as it states into the paper, into the listing saying 48-hour irrevocability required. And all of a sudden we see it on a real estate boards being sold conditionally. And that just pissed off some buyers.
Well, you know what? I had a lot of them where I actually had to call the agent and say, have you had any offers? Oh yeah, we've had 3.
Yeah.
They're not even recording. They're not registering them.
They're not. And I still think for the month of May too, we got some very greedy sellers out there. We've already had 3 or 4 offers and we didn't take any of them. Are you crazy?
Oh, I saw that all the time.
Yeah. And
but I still see a lot of people coming in with a low offer though.
100%.
People aren't willing to go way over. And I saw bidding wars with market value. Like it wasn't priced for a bidding war.
Right. And I think that has to deal with my thoughts on that is the level of experience of that agent, because we've saw multiple offers on listings and we saw that stuff when we get some of the offers and we see it came in at list price. The neighbor sold for 9. You're coming at 650. So yeah. I really believe that there's a lot of agents out there representing people today that are putting no investigated or no work involved on price.
You know what? I don't think it's all the agent's fault, because I have my own clients that they won't do it. Well, I want this. I want to go in at this. They don't care. Okay. I'm showing them. I'm telling them, oh, but Diane, you never know. You never know. And yeah, but sometimes you saw the odd one that was selling lower. It was happening once in a while. Some of them are low.
How many days on market though?
Well, I seen some that sold the first day and they got full price and they just took it.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think then, to me, I don't think the agent should have done a better job with the price evaluation of the property.
Yeah.
Really? Or advising them.
Yeah.
Advise them, say, hey, we're too low. I can get you an extra 50K.
Oh, there's people that left money on the table for sure. Cause I've seen some and I'm thinking, you sold it the first day for full price and like it was a low price. What the hell are you thinking?
Yeah.
I'm going to share my screen a little bit with you because there was some stats finally released from the Barrie board.
And looking at some of those, I'm going to put my glasses on now so I can see them a bit. Let me talk to Barrie for 1 second while you jump in. As we can see, 237 sales. This is just the Barrie Real Estate Board. The Toronto Real Estate Board, which I'm a member of, and Dan's a member of the Barrie, we recorded 250 sales. So some sales are registered in the Barrie board, some Toronto agents, most of them probably don't have a board, but whatever, some do. So numbers are off a little bit. But we've seen an increase, we'll go with these 237 sales for the month of May. For the month of April, there was 200 sales. So an uptick in sales, I think that says 18.5%.
Yeah.
Right, limited inventory, et cetera, brought it up. Prices moved up a little bit. Even though the average price says $769 and it went down, I don't really want to go in depth about that because I just don't think it's a valid point to explain to viewers that as an average price. It does, every property is different and everyone will suffer differently. And if a bunch didn't sell at a higher price, it brings the average down. To me, it means nothing. So, but we've seen a strong month in Barrie in Simcoe County, and I think that's a good step forward into early into this year.
Well, condominiums went up 80%.
Yeah, that surprises me because there's a bit of inventory on the condo side too, right? Like looking at there's some products sitting there.
I know, But
And I'm
80% is
odd.
a big jump, no?
Is that year over year? Is that compared to last year
Month.
or month? Yeah, that unit sold 45. Yeah, that is big. But we saw, if we look back at March, April, February, go back 3 months, wasn't really picking up steam. All of a sudden, May kind of just took off a bit. But yeah, I know there's inventory sitting on the board,
And it's saying all the average sale prices are down. But I mean, like you said, it all depends in that month. What's the volume selling? Like if the volume in April were $1 million listings, and we
right,
were seeing a lot of those.
100%, 100%. We saw a lot of higher price point properties start to pick up some steam. Even compared, we saw last year nothing. Beginning of this year, rolling picking. Now it's very common to see the solds on the board for a day, maybe 10 of them, maybe well over $1 million. That's normal now. Where
Yeah.
last year we didn't see that normal.
No. So, but maybe in May, because the volume increased so much, there was probably more cheaper ones,
Yeah.
right? If there's a larger volume of cheaper homes, then you're going to bring your average down.
100%. And that's
And
why.
and in Toronto, the average went down 1.2%.
Right.
And then all of Simcoe County, it's saying 14%.
Right.
And Barrie 8%.
Right. And
so on average,
don't look at it. That's the best way, because I don't think a viewer should look at that. Oh, it's down, because it's just a number that changes based on sales data. Up and down, not homes, and the average is selling for that, so we better price it that way, or that's what we expect to buy. Don't even look at it. I just think it's a waste of time that we saw.
So here is by municipality. And this is the change April over May.
Okay. Yeah.
So Barrie, they're saying the average, I see, and look at the average price percentage change went up 1.9.
Right. Yep. Yep.
Right. A unit sold 237.
Yep.
Average price 769.
Yep. Yep.
So like it's actually gone up over April.
Correct. So for months, and we've seen that without even, looking at those numbers as agents, we've seen the sales increase. We've seen the pricing increase.
Well, and then look at Bradford, West Gwillimbury, units sold 5.
Yeah.
And the average price change went down 9.7.
Yeah. So what could that be? There's just no inventory in Bradford.
That's what I think.
Small community, some strong demand, North York buyer.
Innisfil 41.
Yep.
And it went up. It was only in the 30s last time. And I actually was reading a stat yesterday that Barrie only has 1.5 months of inventory.
Correct. Yep. Yep.
So Innisfil's up too. I mean, everywhere around us, I think, except Springwater. I did a little thing, and I think Essa and Springwater or Oro were basically both down a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And compared to listings in Oro, right, we see a lot of high volume price points, or higher price points in Oro Medonte. Got a lot of waterfront there. You got a lot of nice subdivisions in that community that's well over $1 million. And looking at the waterfront, I've showed a few to clients this year, there isn't much product out there. So the number of sales are lower in those communities. And if they don't have those high ticketed price points, it's going to drop the average.
Exactly.
It's pretty
well. And don't you think too, waterfront properties and property, I have a friend of mine trying to sell a cottage up north, and it's not getting any action. Like in times of like inflation and interest rate issues and all this stuff, how many people are going to want to buy recreation properties? I think the sales of those are going to go down.
I don't know. I showed a couple and they didn't last long, but I think there's a buyer.
But those were close to Barrie, no?
Close to Barrie. So a buyer that is looking up in Barrie that's close to Big Center and 60 minutes from the city, I'm all in. A bit further north, I don't think so much.
Yeah, if you're an hour and a half away from Barrie. You're not driving that to work every day, right? That's just a cottage only.
Cottage only, limited use, 12 weekends for the summer, close it up. Right, or rent it out. But yeah, some in Oro, and I've lost a few offers on them. And let me tell you, the cards were lined up on the table. I was surprised at how many viewings, and one on, here's what and I'm pissed off about it. And I'm pissed off. I'm going to tell why I'm pissed off. On 3 Lakeshore in Oro, listed for 1.8. Listed on the Wednesday 2 weeks ago. I showed it on a Friday. There was already 10, 11 showings. Communicated, et cetera, you know the story.
Yeah.
All of a sudden we went to go book a showing days later. Sorry, there's no more showings. We've got it sold conditional. Sold conditional. What do you mean? I booked a showing. You're asking 48 hours, your bookability. That's lots of time for me to submit an offer and the whole bit, or book a showing and kind of get in there. No communication. So nothing was registered to me. Tell me if I'm wrong, but if I'm a seller, I'd be pissed because they got 1.8 full list, but how many people weren't allowed to bid on that? Everybody. So by that
Agent
time,
didn't double end it, did they?
didn't. That's why I thought so. That didn't really represent the seller in a good way. It didn't.
No, and I've noticed that. I told you I've noticed that a lot, and I don't understand that, because if you register the offer, you could have more than one offer. You could end up with 4 or 5
on a property like that.
So why wouldn't you register it?
I don't know. I was put it this way: the agent got a nasty note, and I got no response.
Oh, they didn't answer you back, eh?
None. So, sellers, if you're selling waterfront out there, properties out there, it's your right to communicate with your agent and say, did you let everybody notify everybody of the offer, that we have an offer and we're going to review it, say 6 o'clock tomorrow? Ask that question, because some sellers are leaving some money on the table, especially on good neighborhoods and unique properties.
Well, and if I'm putting an offer in on that, I'm not going to report it, because if I report it, then a bidding war could happen. So like, how I could, if I'm putting an offer on your property, I could register it myself if I wanted.
Yeah, you don't have to.
But why would I?
You wouldn't. I agree. But
you would.
Agent,
as a selling agent, you're going to do it.
Right. I don't care if you do it. I'm not relying on you. I'm going to rely on myself to let everybody know, communicate that I have an offer. And again, on the listing of 48 hours, that's, maybe that agent was happy with the full list. Was the seller happy with the full list on that property? I don't know. It was a nice piece. It needed some work, but I'm telling you, one of the best waterfronts that I've seen in a while. Sandy Beach. You walk it, the grade was great. 2 steps and you have beach sand and not a rocky beach.
Well, and that's the thing around here in Innisfil, Barrie, Oro, to get a sandy beach is very, very difficult. It's usually all just a dock, right? Like you can't get a sand beach.
Sand beach, but sandy beach sand, like you're going to the Barrie waterfront with the kids for the day. Like,
yeah,
I was blown away. So, this is, really, I'm going to rant now, is that there is so many people in our industry doing it wrong today. And in the end, who's suffering?
The sellers.
Bottom line, the sellers are
suffering. What the worst thing is though, Mark, and this is what I've been finding too, is that the sellers are ignorant of it anyway. Meaning
they don't know.
Because they don't know any better.
But
so they get full price. They got say 20, 30 showings. Okay. They get full price and they're thinking, man, we won. Because we had 20, 30 showings, no other offers.
Yeah.
We just won.
Yeah.
They don't feel like they lost out.
Yeah. Well, on a property like that. And I think, heck, let me see, it was only listed for about 8 days, not even a week. Right. Property like that, there's lots to think about. My people were evaluating the costs to, get this home up to standard a little bit more. They love the boathouse. They love the frontage. They love everything about the beach, everything. So, I crushed them when I said, guys, we can't, it's sold. We're done. We can't go in. We got to sit back on June 12th. and see what's going on with it. So that's,
Well, you know, another thing too, right now, I want to mention, if you're not sold in the first week, you're toast.
yeah, but on a $1.8 million property,
Oh, not that one. But I mean, as a
I
seller
agree.
right now,
Right,
things are selling in a week.
100%.
If you're not selling in a week, you're too high.
Right, and let's reflect this on May, and this is what we saw in May, right? If something's not turning in 5 or 6 days, there's a reason. A seller has to react quicker. We know that, right? Don't wait for a month or 5 weeks because your price is going to keep dropping on what you get, right? React now. Refresh the listing. Hey, it was $699 and now we're going to $649. Kill a listing, relist it, take out any comments about offer dates if you're happy with that, because you're not going to get multiple bids of that anyway. You've lost that already.
Yeah.
Because they've tried it. So, you know, it's that way. And
It's still a seller's market for sure.
100% it is. 100%.
And buyers are chasing each other around.
Correct.
I have buyers, I'm running around chasing my tail, trying things, not losing.
Yep.
It's tough.
It's tough. It's really tough right now. And there's a lot more as we've seen May really pick up the most, where a lot of people kind of got off that couch and started purchasing. May was a great month in the market. Will we be able to sustain those numbers in June? Think about it. June's half over. We got 2 more weeks and the kids are out. And then what are we in? July long weekend, holidays begin.
July and August are usually the worst.
They are. And it'd be interesting to see if the numbers still produce decent. Are those buyers still going to stop and say, hey, we're taking the summer? I don't know.
Think
A lot
about this.
Right
Think
now.
about this. All these houses that are coming up, and there's not many. We have limited amount coming up. We have 6, 8, 10 people in on every one.
Yeah.
So the buyers are there, but the stuff is not there. There's no inventory. So are the buyer, like my buyers are still in? Oh, I finally got one done. I told you, eh? Yay. But my other buyers are still here. We're still waiting. So if something comes up in July, we're going.
100%. That's the thing. The numbers could be okay, maybe, right? Because there's still a lot of buyers out there that have missed out in May deals, and maybe in the inventory really isn't great for June so far. And
it's terrible.
It's terrible. It's being the older crap that's been relisted and hanging around for weeks and weeks. Some older, some newer, some with tenanted properties, some with unrealistic evaluations on them. They've seen that. They're not looking at that anymore. That's passe. They're done.
And tenanted properties are not moving.
They're not moving. Hard to show. Tight restrictions.
Usually doesn't show well.
Never shows well. No, that's the problem. So it's going to be interesting to see. You know, I'm a little, looking at 5 weeks, 6 weeks of supply. It's been very consistent in the market. I've seen this week, I checked yesterday, there was 350 some listings. Didn't check it today. We're averaging floating on 322, 330. Let's just see if that extra 30 or 40 gets scooped up by the end of the week. But that's been the golden number that I've been seeing in Barrie and the Barrie market.
Yeah.
Right. If it builds and now we got to ask ourselves now for June, is there fear back in the market? Is that going to play sentiment? Is sentiment going to change in the market?
I'm seeing, I'm seeing fear from my buyers about the interest rate, and it's silly because they already are locked in anyway. And one is a cash buyer. So the interest rate doesn't even matter, but they think the prices are going to come down because the interest rate went up. Right.
So it could be a bit of a game changer, maybe, possibly. We don't know. Right. We're not seeing it now. Looking, the sales are still decent, but they're off from May, where we were this time in May of last month. So,
yeah. But inventory seems to me lower. I haven't been showing my one client for 2 weeks because there's nothing at all.
For certain ranges, yeah, I agree. It's not there. Keep looking, keep telling them, well, nothing this week. And when it comes, you got to go.
I met a new buyer yesterday, and I said to him, I said, listen, if one comes up, we're there. Like now.
And then you have to keep in mind, Okay, so if someone is, a bit fearful and undecided, the rates can go up again next month and inflation could rise and whatever. Maybe they say, hey, we're not comfortable at a pre-approval amount. We're going to purchase a little bit lower. That's where we may see that. We may see more demand again, shifting from the higher price point properties down to the 950 and 700 range, we'll say.
Yeah.
Oh, demand could shift for that. We're not seeing it right now, but that,
Well, in the 700s, I am right now with one client, mid sevens, and they're flying.
absolutely, they don't last long. They don't last long at all, right? And there's on them ones, there's usually holding off on offers.
Well, no, that's a funny thing. We saw 4 yesterday and nobody was withholding.
Wow. Okay, I'm shocked at that. But then when you call, yeah, we want.
Well, the one as I was driving up already had an offer.
Right.
Within an hour, I got an email. He already had another one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
they're getting the bidding war anyway.
They're getting, and we're seeing that, right? You don't even have to putting it in. The buyers are jumping on the great inventory, the inventory that is working for them, to jumping on it right away. Let's go. And that's what you have to do as a buyer today. Oh, don't comes out on a Wednesday. Don't go look at it on a Sunday because it ain't going to be there.
Well, that's what one problem I have with one of my clients. Okay, Diane, we'll come up on Saturday or Sunday, like on the weekend. It's gone. It's gone by then. You don't have time to do that.
No, there's no time. And that's the thing, right? So here it is, buyers going out there, be available, get things moving quicker for yourselves because you're going to keep missing out in those lower price ranges today.
Yep. And your agent's got to be able to drop everything and go. It's part of the business.
They do. They have to. They're going to have to drop what they do. Let's go. Because if they're not willing, here's my rule. You're willing to do business in a different community that you're not working in, you better be available like that. Right? Yeah, it's a pain in the ass to drive 50 minutes from the city or whatever it is, but
you have to, because in this kind of market, you don't have a choice.
No, and if you're not willing to, then don't work with an out-of-town agent. Work with someone locally that could drop everything what they're doing. Yeah, I'll go show you today. Great, let's go.
Yeah.
Done. And the public doesn't know that. We've seen this community been bombarded with out-of-town agents for years. They make up most of the sales in the community from a listing side and a buying side. We've seen that. The Barrie agents slices get thinner over the years. And they don't know the market well. They don't know what's going on up here. They don't.
Well, and they're not gonna, like, I had one trying to get into my one property, and he says, well, we can only come at like 7 or 7:30 on Thursday, and if not Sunday.
Yeah.
Well, sorry about your luck there. I mean, that's the problem. And it's not necessarily their fault, because I'm sure they're working down there in between, like they're probably showing in Mississauga or wherever, right?
Could be. Or you know what, even easier, just refer it out. Take 30 points to do nothing.
Yeah.
Really, that's a good paycheck to say, hey, you know what, I can't service this client really good because they're in a tight range and I just don't have the time in my schedule to come up all the time. Go give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Let the buyer recommend that to the agent. Maybe that's, as a buyer today, if I'm living in Toronto or whatever in North York area and you're my agent, are you available 7 days a week? Are you available to fly out on a 2 hours notice? Are you willing to do this? And if there's not, sorry, you're not for me. Let's be honest, because we're gone.
Well, in this kind of market, unfortunately, you don't have a choice.
You have no choice.
You don't have a choice.
You don't, but it's nice to see the market turning around. It's nice to see the confidence turning around, sentiment turning around, buyers coming back,
We just need more inventory.
Right. That's the biggest thing that we need to see more product. And again, that rate, I don't know. I it's going to affect some. I keep talking about throwing an idea out there, but I don't think it's going to mean everything, right? Because people.
I watched an economist for an hour and a half, and she said that the problem is the supply and demand. There's no supply, right? So the interest rate isn't affecting housing the way they want.
Right. It's not. And it's not and this is what I don't understand. Part of the core numbers in an inflation is mortgages. What happened to mortgages in the last year?
The cost of borrowing anything,
Right.
cost of borrowing anything is included in the inflation numbers.
Correct. And
So
it's
you
not-
raise the interest rates, everybody's paying more,
Right.
and it only makes the inflation number worse.
Does. It's going to be interesting to see what happens next month. And
Yeah.
see, going to get the numbers and see what they are. You know what? I think we've done enough.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up for today. Hit the
Yeah.
like, subscribe.
Follow for more information. It's critical.
Perfect.
Okay. Talk soon.
Talk soon.